Welcome, welcome, welcome back to, you guessed it, English Edge, the podcast that, it gives your career a little boost, right? Like a tiny, perfectly tailored, super professional boost.
Or a gentle nudge, depending on how much coffee you've had this morning. I'm Leo, your co-host, ready to stumble through another episode with you.
And I'm Vicky, and together we're like your personal language coaches, but with more jokes and fewer grammar tests, mostly.
Less chalk dust, more mic drops, you know?
Exactly. And today, oh boy, today we're diving headfirst into a skill that is, dare I say, almost as important as breathing in the professional world. We're mastering networking in English.
Networking. Oh, that magical art of, talking to strangers at events without feeling like you're trying to sell them something they really don't need.
Or like you've accidentally wandered into a very fancy job interview. It's about building connections, expanding your reach, and frankly, getting to know some really cool people.
Absolutely. And we know it can feel a bit daunting, especially when you're navigating it in a second language. You're thinking, do I shake hands? Do I bow? Do I just awkwardly nod and back away slowly?
All valid questions, Leo, but fear not, dear listeners. Today we're gonna demystify it all. We'll be breaking down those tricky phrases, showing you how to craft an elevator pitch that actually works and not just takes you to the second floor.
Yeah, and we'll even give you some cultural tips, because what works in one place might get you a very confused stare in another. Or worse, an accidental high five when a bow was expected. Trust me, I've been there.
Oh, Leo, we need to hear that story later. But first, we've got a fun interactive challenge coming up too. So whether you're at a swanky conference, a virtual meetup, or just trying to chat up your LinkedIn connections, we're going to get you ready. Are you ready to network like a pro?
Because we are absolutely ready to help you try. Let's get into it. So, Vicky, we've talked about the what of networking, but now let's get into the how, specifically the lingo, because every industry, every, social circle has its own special words, right?
Oh, absolutely, Leo. And networking is no exception. We've got two terms today that are just like bedrock, fundamental, the pillars of polite, professional connecting.
Pillars of polite professional pestering. I like that. We should trademark that. Okay, first up, the elevator pitch. Vicky, explain this magical beast for our listeners.
Okay, so imagine you're in an elevator. You've got 30 seconds before someone gets off, right? And in that super short time, you need to introduce yourself, explain what you do, and maybe pique their interest just enough so they don't immediately forget you when the doors open. It's a quick, punchy summary of you.
It's like your personal theme song, but instead of being 3 minutes long, it's 30 seconds and hopefully less auto-tuned. The goal is to make them think, tell me more, not, please God, let these doors open.
Exactly. For example, my elevator pitch, if I were feeling particularly professional, might be, "Hi, I'm Vicky, a content creator passionate about making educational topics sound, less boring. I turn complex ideas into engaging stories, usually with a few jokes thrown in."
And my version would be, "Hi, I'm Leo. I manage things, mostly. And I'm really good at finding the snacks at conferences. Not quite as effective, I've found."
Well, that is relatable. But yeah, the idea is to be concise, clear, and compelling. Now, the second term, just as crucial, is follow up. Leo, want to take that one?
The follow-up. This is, in a nutshell, what you do after you've had that brilliant elevator pitch moment. Or any interaction, really. It's contacting someone after you've met them, usually to solidify the connection, discuss a potential collaboration, or just make sure they remember your snack-finding skills.
It's like sending a thank you note, but for your future professional life. Like, hey, remember that person who didn't awkwardly stare at their shoes? That was me. An example could be, I sent a follow-up email to discuss that hilarious cat video we talked about, and, oh yeah, that potential collaboration.
Yeah, and I remember one time I met someone at a conference, had a great chat, and I was so proud of my follow-up email. I hit send, felt like a networking pro. Then like 5 minutes later, I realized I had attached my grocery list instead of my resume.
Oh no, what was on the grocery list? Was it like embarrassing?
Just a lot of cheese. Like a lot of cheese. So yeah, my professional follow-up was essentially, hi, here's my deep love for dairy. Let's collaborate. Didn't get that job, surprisingly.
Well, sometimes you connect over cheese, it happens, but that's why follow-ups are important to correct those accidental grocery lists or, just to reiterate interest.
Right. So, 2 super important terms. Let's make sure our listeners get them down pat. Vicky, could you, say them for everyone to repeat?
Absolutely. So first, say it with me, nice and clear, elevator pitch.
Okay, now for the next one, nice and loud, follow up.
Awesome. Now you got the vocabulary down. Next up, we're actually going to hear these in action. A simulated real-life networking event dialogue. You won't want to miss it.
That's right, because, it's one thing to hear the words, it's another to actually, use them in the wild. And if you're anything like me, the wild of a networking event can feel, well, a little bit like a jungle full of strangers who want to talk to you.
Oh, Leo, it totally is. I mean, it's always that moment, isn't it? You spot someone across the room, you make eye contact, and then it's like, okay, do I go over there? Do I just nod? Do I pretend I'm looking for the bathroom? The anxiety is real.
So real. And then you finally get there and it's like, hi, I'm human person. You are also human person. It's so much smoother when you have a plan. So to help you navigate that, we've put ourselves in a mock networking situation.
Yes, we're going to play ourselves. Shocking, I know. But imagine us at a tech conference or something, or maybe, I don't know, a convention for professional nappers.
I'd be all over that. Anyway, you're going to hear this dialogue first at a totally natural, fast pace, like how it would really happen. And then, don't worry, later in the episode, we'll slow it down and break it apart piece by piece so you can really, absorb everything.
Exactly. Think of this first listen as getting the vibe, the overall chaotic energy of 2 people meeting for the first time with vague professional intentions. Ready?
Let's do it. Listen closely.
Hi, I'm Vicky, a marketing specialist. I help brands grow online. What do you do?
Hi, Vicky. I'm Leo, a sales manager at TechCorp. I'm passionate about building client relationships.
That's cool. I'd love to learn more. Can we connect on LinkedIn?
Sure. Let's exchange details. I'll follow up tomorrow.
Okay, so that was us in our natural habitat, kind of. What did you think, Leo?
I thought we were incredibly charming. Also, remarkably concise, which is not usually our strong suit.
No, not at all. Normally, it would be me asking about their childhood pets and you, telling a 15-minute story about your favorite paperclip. But hey, for the sake of the lesson, we kept it tight.
Indeed. So, that was it. Quick and to the point. But remember, we'll be revisiting that exact same dialogue later, taking it slow, word by word, phrase by phrase, so you can really hear how those key terms we just talked about, and some others, fit right in.
Definitely. You'll be surprised how much useful stuff is packed into just a few short lines. It's like a networking bento box. Everything you need, neatly organized.
A bento box of professional potential. I like that. So, stick around because coming up, we're actually going to pull out some of those crucial phrases you just heard and break down exactly when and how to use them. It's going to be, fascinating.
Fascinating, indeed. Okay, so you heard that little snippet of us schmoozing, right? Now let's dissect it, because tucked away in those short lines are some absolute gold mines of networking phrases that, honestly, you're going to use all the time.
Oh yeah, these are like the triple threat of networking, the holy trinity, the three musketeers of making a connection without, sword fighting, hopefully.
Hopefully no sword fighting. Although that would make networking events a lot more interesting. Anyway, first up, the classic, what do you do?
The Pentecostal icebreaker. It's like the default setting for human interaction at these events. Someone walks up to you or you walk up to them and it's like, greetings, state your occupation.
Exactly. But seriously, it's just a polite, direct way to ask about someone's job or their role. You heard me ask it in the dialogue, what do you do? Super simple.
And you'll often hear it phrased like, what do you do at your company? Or, so what kind of work are you in? It's all variations on the same theme, really. It gets straight to the point without being, too nosy.
Unless you're like me and you've accidentally asked someone what they do, and they're like, oh, I'm a professional competitive eater. And you're just like, oh, wow, that's a lot. Please tell me more, but also please don't.
Yeah, you got to be ready for anything. I once asked someone that, and they said, I'm a disruptor of paradigms. And I was like, oh, right. Okay, so you break things. I wasn't ready. My brain just froze.
Okay, that's amazing. But it leads us right into our next phrase, which is perfect for those moments when you actually are interested or, when you're trying to fake it till you make it. I'd love to learn more.
Oh, this one's a lifesaver. Because sometimes someone's talking about their job and you're like, I don't quite get it, but it sounds important. Or, wow, that's actually genuinely fascinating, and you just want them to keep talking.
It's the ultimate conversation extender. Instead of just nodding awkwardly, you can say, your project sounds really exciting. I'd love to learn more. Or, that sounds fascinating. I'd love to learn more about how you got into that. It shows engagement without committing you to like a lifelong apprenticeship.
I use this all the time, especially when someone starts talking about like blockchain or AI. I'm just like, oh, wow, that's so interesting. I'd love to learn more, mostly because I have no idea what they're talking about and I'm hoping they'll dumb it down for me.
It's a good strategy. And then finally, when it's time to politely yet professionally make your escape or, actually solidify a potential connection, we have let's stay in touch.
Yes, this one is gold. It's the perfect way to wrap up a conversation. It's friendly, it's open-ended, and it implies future communication without demanding it. Like, great meeting you, Leo. Let's stay in touch.
Exactly. It's the grown-up way of saying, see you around, maybe. It implies a LinkedIn connection or maybe an email down the line. It's not a blood oath, but it's more than just a vague wave goodbye.
I once had someone at a networking event say, well, I guess I'll see you in the afterlife or on LinkedIn. And I was like, wow, that's one way to say it. But let's stay in touch is definitely the safer, more standard option.
Much safer. So to recap those 3 power phrases, what do you do to learn about their work? I'd love to learn more to show interest, and let's stay in touch to keep the door open for future connection. Simple, right?
Super simple, but super effective. And next we're going to dive into how to make these phrases and others sound even more natural, plus some sneaky cultural tips that'll make you sound like a true networking pro. Stick around.
All right, so you've got the power phrases down, right? What do you do? I'd love to learn more, and let's stay in touch. Super important. But now, Leo, it's time to level up our game. We're talking about sounding like you've actually been doing this your whole life.
Oh, absolutely. This is where we go from networking human to networking ninja almost. It's about those little tweaks that make you sound less like you're reading from a textbook and more like a person, a cool person.
Exactly. And the first one is about follow-up. Instead of saying, I will contact you, which, sounds a little stiff, a little formal, what should we say?
I'll reach out soon. So much smoother. I'll reach out soon. It's like you're not making a legally binding contract. You're just implying, hey, I'm going to drop you a line whenever.
Yeah. It's just so much more, natural. It was great chatting about, the future of artisanal pickles. I'll reach out soon to discuss ideas. Versus, I will contact you regarding the artisanal pickles. It sounds like you're about to serve them a subpoena.
Right? Or like you're a robot from the future sent to deliver a message about pickles. You're just like, beep, boop, I will contact you. No, I'll reach out soon. It's friendly. It's approachable. It's like, yeah, we're cool. I got you.
And then, after a great conversation, instead of the very standard, nice to meet you, which, it's fine, but it's a bit pedestrian, what's the cooler, more natural alternative?
Oh, you gotta go with great connecting. Great connecting. It acknowledges the actual act of networking. Like, we connected, baby, boom. It's less formal, more, I don't know, like you've actually done something.
It's a subtle wink, right? Like, we just had a productive exchange, and now we are bonded, like great connecting at the conference. It's just a little bit more modern, a little bit more in the know.
Totally. I mean, nice to meet you is like the default, but great connecting is like the upgraded version. It's the difference between a flip phone and a smartphone. They both make calls, but one just feels better.
Okay, that's perfect. So I'll reach out soon, and great connecting. Practice those folks because they'll make you sound like 10% more legit, at least.
Easily 10%, probably 12.5%.
Okay, so moving from language to culture, because let's be real, networking isn't just about the words, it's also about like the unspoken rules, and they change depending on where you are.
Oh, gosh, yes. It's like the social dance, right? You think you know the steps, and then suddenly you're in Japan, and you're like doing the Macarena when everyone else is doing a graceful bow. Awkward.
So first, let's talk about the U.S. In the U.S., generally, you want to be friendly, right? Use first names. It's pretty common. Like, if you meet someone named Dr. Johnson, after the initial introduction, it's usually fine to just call them John or Jane.
Yeah, it's like we're all on a first-name basis with the universe almost. I remember once I kept calling someone Mr. Henderson, and he finally just stopped me and was like, Leo, please, just call me Buster. And I was like, oh, okay, Buster, got it. It was a little jarring, but I learned my lesson.
Buster, that's amazing. Yeah, it's all about that approachable vibe. Now, contrast that with, say, Japan. Big difference, especially when it comes to business cards.
Oh, the meishi, the Japanese business card. This is like a whole ceremony. You don't just like flick it across the table like a frisbee. You present it with two hands. You receive it with two hands. You examine it respectfully. It's like a sacred artifact.
Yeah, you definitely don't just shove it in your back pocket or, God forbid, write on it in front of them. I once saw someone do that, and I swear I heard gasps. It's like you're disrespecting their entire company, their ancestors, everything.
Oh, that's a major faux pas. It's like your business card isn't just a piece of paper. It's like a piece of your soul or something. So treat it with reverence. Definitely no scribbling your grocery list on the back.
No. And finally, let's talk virtual networking because that's obviously huge now. What's one key thing to remember when, say, sending a LinkedIn message?
Oh, context is key. Always, always, always remind them how you know them or why you're connecting. Don't just send like a blank connection request. That's just begging to be ignored.
Right? Like, you met someone at a webinar, don't just send, "Hi, connect." It's, "Hi, I enjoyed your insights on the future of disruptive paradigms at the Break All the Things webinar last week. Would love to connect here." That just makes so much more sense.
Yeah, it's like, we met at the webinar, or I saw your fantastic comment on that post about competitive eating. Whatever it is, just give them a hook. Give them a reason to be like, oh, right, that person. They're got a bot.
Exactly. So remember these cultural nuances. They're like half the battle in making a good impression and, avoiding any Macarena in Japan situations.
Absolutely. Mastering these little tricks and tips, it really does make a difference. And speaking of making a difference, we've got a challenge coming up that's going to put all your new networking skills to the test. Stick around.
Ooh, a challenge. I love challenges, especially when I can give them to other people.
Of course you do. Always delegating the hard work. But yeah, this one is for all of you out there listening, because we want you to put everything we've talked about today into action.
Exactly. So your challenge, should you choose to accept it, is to record a 30-second elevator pitch.
Oh, the classic elevator pitch. That's like your personal verbal business card, but like if your business card could talk and, sell itself.
Right. And when you record it, we want you to make sure you use at least 2 of the phrases we covered today. So think about like, what do you do? Or I'd love to learn more, or let's stay in touch. Really try to weave them in naturally.
Yeah, don't just like shove them in there all clunky. Make it smooth. Make it sound like, you're actually talking to a human being, not just ticking boxes off a checklist. Unless you are a robot, in which case just beep boop your way through it.
And once you've crafted this masterpiece, this 30-second symphony of self-promotion, we want you to share it. You can post it on our Discord server, which is always bustling with amazing people, or on X, formerly known as Twitter, using the hashtag EnglishEdge.
And why are we having you share it? Well, for a few reasons. 1, you'll get feedback from the amazing English Edge community. 2, we're working on some AI magic, so you might even get some feedback from Wondercraft AI on your pronunciation.
Yeah, so you can really fine-tune it. Because let's be honest, that first elevator pitch, it might feel a little clunky. It might sound like a robot trying to sell socks, as Leo said.
Which, by the way, robot selling socks is a niche market, but it exists. No, but seriously, the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. So don't be afraid to sound a little silly at first. It's all part of the process.
Absolutely. Practice makes perfect, and building those connections starts with confidently introducing yourself. So go forth, record your pitches, and share them with us. We can't wait to hear what you come up with. All right, so as we wrap things up here on English Edge, let's just quickly recap some of the really important takeaways from today's episode on networking.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest one, I think, is really about crafting that, killer elevator pitch. It's your intro, your handshake, your whole vibe in like 30 seconds or less. Make it count.
Absolutely. And don't forget those super handy phrases we talked about, like, what do you do? Or I'd love to learn more. And of course, let's stay in touch. They just, grease the wheels of conversation, makes it less awkward.
Well, networking can still be awkward, let's be real, but these phrases definitely help. And remember to always adapt to those cultural networking norms. What works in the US might totally flop in Japan, or even in a virtual setting. So do your homework, folks.
Yeah, unless you want to accidentally insult someone's ancestors with a poorly timed high five. Just kidding. Mostly, but seriously, cultural awareness is key.
And probably the most important thing, beyond all the tips and tricks, is just consistent practice. You got to practice networking weekly. It's like working out. You wouldn't expect to run a marathon after sitting on the couch all year, right? Networking is the same.
True. You got to build those networking muscles. And hey, if you're looking for even more tips and tricks, LinkedIn Learning is a fantastic resource for networking advice. They've got like a ton of courses there.
Yeah, definitely check that out. And speaking of what's next, you definitely want to tune in for our next episode because we're tackling something pretty big, negotiating in English.
Ooh, that's a good one. Get ready to ask for that raise or, haggle for that slightly bigger piece of cake. Whatever your negotiating needs are, we've got you covered.
That's episode 6, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please, share it with a friend, a colleague, your dog if they're learning English.
Or your cat. My cat Mittens is actually quite fluent in meow negotiating for treats. But on that note, thanks for joining us on English Edge. We had a blast, and we hope you learned a thing or two about networking like a pro.
Yeah, go out there and connect. And remember, if all else fails, just offer them a sock. You never know who's in the market for a good, sturdy, robot-soled sock.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.